Greetings, BookTube. Welcome back to the History Shelf. My name is Peg. Thanks for joining me today for this kind of a combination video. I'm going to go over some recent reads. I haven't done that in a while. And then I have a stack of books, kind of like end of summer, early fall, new releases that that have been sent to me. A mixture of mostly fiction, historical fiction, mysteries, a couple thrillers. I've got a couple of memoirs here, and at least two nonfiction, one history. So, but how you doing? It's been a while since I feel like I posted my last video. I've just been hard at work, just reading, working all day, and then moving right into reading. I've been doing a lot of book reviewing. I've got a lot of book reviews to post. I am behind in posting my book reviews to social media. I've got about probably about 10 books that I need to post on social media to get you guys caught up on what I've been reading. And but some of them are right here in the stack. So I thought I'd just kind of quickly go through what I've recently read. Oh, and then stick around because halfway through this video, I wanted to kind of put it in the middle. I got a neat little gift for the outside. If you guys like to do little book merch here and there, a little outdoor decor, if you will, from a creator at Etsy. And if you like what you see towards the middle, I'm going to show you what Martine bought for me, but I loved it. And what do I mean, but? Of course I loved it, but but I was like, you know what? I'm going to show it in a video. And then we contacted the creator, and guess what? If you like it, you can use a special code that is down in the description box to get 30% off anything in her store, including this item. But I'm going to save that towards the middle of this video. So stick around, okay? So see, I'm not waiting until the end. I'm going to get you through to the middle. And then I'm going to try to keep you here. All right, so that's towards the middle. So yeah, let's just dive into some of my recent reads. These are all books that I have written reviews for. And either they're not out yet or they will be. And anyway, so let's see. This one is out, and I need to post it on social media. I think if you follow this channel and you watched my last live stream with Bill Rutenberg, I was mentioning that I had just started reading this book. Loved it. The Invention of Charlotte Brontë by Graham Watson. This is Graham Watson's first book, but he is a specialist in Brontë studies, and slim little volume, but boy, did it pack a punch. It made me want to rush out and buy Elizabeth Gaskell's biography of Charlotte Brontë, which is intimately wrapped up into this story. It's kind of like a dual story of Charlotte Bronté's later years after her siblings all died tragically, and her meeting Elizabeth Gaskell, another well-known Victorian writer, and their friendship, and how after Charlotte's death, people assumed like Elizabeth Gaskell would be the one to write her life. So it kind of goes into the writing of Gaskell's famous biography of Charlotte Brontë. It's just riveting stuff. But anyway, I don't want to give it anyway too much away because I wrote a long form review, much longer than like my standard stuff for other publications. It's probably close to 1,000 words, including my Beyond the Book article, which focused on Elizabeth Gaskell for Book Browse. So I will be posting that review soon, I promise, on social media. But check out Book Browse review. Just type in Book Browse, one word review. It's a pay to play, but you get so much bang for your buck if you become a member at Book Browse. And there's book clubs, there's read-alongs, there's first impressions. They send out free galleys to people that want to join the book club and actually post and discuss the book with other people. So it's a real engaging site. and I've been writing for them since 2017. I've written 40 reviews for them so far that I've counted. 40. Long form. Anyway, this was a fantastic read. I should say this is put out by Pegasus Books, and it came out August 5th, so it is available. I would love to get a finished copy of this. I think what I'll do is I'll contact the publicist and say, here's my review. Anyway, I highly recommend this. If you enjoy biography, and if you also enjoy literature and you love the Brontes, then you've got to read that book. Okay, the next book. Let's see. I'm trying to go in order of... I read this, about 3 weeks ago, I think. This is Tom Clavin's latest book, Running Deep, Bravery, Survival, and the True Story of the Deadliest Submarine in World War II. I reviewed this, and I'll be publishing that short review very soon on social media. Let's see. This is about the Tang. Yeah, the USS Tang. My review kind of goes into it, but it's more than just about the Tang, because it kind of follows the skipper, Captain Richard Hetherington O'Kane, through how he got to the Tang, and then it's not just about their amazing record-setting night where they just sunk an entire convoy, Japanese convoy, but it's also about when the Tang went down and some of them escaped. They were picked up by the Japanese and then went to a prison camp. So, but that is really not a lot of it. I thought it might be more balanced. It's the prisoner of war stuff takes up maybe the last 30 pages or so. But the rest is just high adventure on the high seas. And so it was great. I mean, Tom Clavin's a great writer. He really kind of gets into his different personalities that he includes, and he's got like just all the authentic language. It was a great, gripping read. So, Running Deep, Tom Clavin from St. Martin's Press. And this book is, I guess I got this way ahead of schedule. So you guys, you might have to hang on, because this is not coming until October 21st. But I do give it my imprimatur of it's a good read. So, Running Deep, I can give a thumbs up to that. This one is also October. This one's November. Some of these books, I have to read them far in advance, and some are just like within a month. So I think this one's already out. Yeah, this one, I don't know what day of the month this month it came out, but I read and wrote a review for Shelf Awareness, which has not posted just yet. This is The Darien Gap, a reporter's journey through the deadly crossroads of the Americas by Belen Fernandez. Put out by Rutgers University Press. A slim little volume, but kind of a mixture of gonzo journalism, memoir, and it's about journalist Belen Fernandez, where she went to the Darien Gap, which is where North America and South America meet, this land bridge. And it's where hundreds of thousands of migrants have to cross through this area, this deep, intense jungle, which is just rife with cartels, guides that have a lot of bad people that want to try to take your money and try to guide you through the jungle, and the things that she reports from there. She didn't go through the whole trek. She kind of turned back at one point, but she did interview people who have gone through the Darien Gap, and reported what they said that they saw. Some horrific stuff, guys. There's a lot of bad things happening. So it makes you wonder, like, what things have to be bad where you live in South America, whatever country, to try to make this journey and go through the Darien Gap. And especially if you're a woman, because she talks very honestly here and reports very honestly about the, obviously, just think, what would happen to a woman traveling with just horrible, awful, evil, murderous people So there's a lot of bad things going on there, but it must be really bad if you would risk it to try to go north for a better life. So she's very opinionated. She's very political. She makes no bones about it. She tells you where she stands on this. But anyway, my review of this is coming soon to Shelf Awareness, and this is the Darien Gap. Um, sometimes it kind of rubbed me some of the things she would write and the way she wrote it, but at the same time, it's like it's it's another someone else's experience of life. So it's just like I have, I accept that. That is your where you're coming from, and so I didn't live it, you did. So that's why I read these things, is to broaden my mind and say, oh my gosh, you know, it just kind of makes you pause and say, wow, either A, depending on how you believe, it's like I'm very lucky to live where I do, or I'm blessed to live where I do, or whatever. But it just goes to show you so many people out there have it way worse. So it's a good reminder to just kind of have some kindness and have some empathy for people. Okay, so moving on to we're gonna go back to some straight up history. This book, oh my god, and I just got the finished copy, which I'm so happy about. I love this book. I cannot wait to recommend this to you. And I know I might have shown you the galley of it before, but I highly recommend. Let me see, when did it come out? It came out last Tuesday, guys, a week ago. This is Launching Liberty, the epic race to build the ships that took America to war, by Doug Most. It's put out by Simon and Schuster. This is the book I have been waiting for. I wanted a book that talked about Henry Kaiser. I haven't been able to find just a straight up biography of Henry Kaiser. He was one of America's most consequential industrialists. He was a builder by nature. He came to this project because he had the contacts, he had the financing, and President Franklin Roosevelt was like, okay, so what the premise is, real quick. In 1940, FDR knew way ahead of everybody else America was eventually going to get into this war. Now, at the same time, he saw how much Britain was struggling trying to just get supplies. The U-boat war in the Atlantic was killing the British. The U-boats were sinking so much tonnage of just war material, food, and everything. And so the book kind of starts off with the British looking outward to America to see if they could get a contract with private American businesses to build 60 ships, cargo ships, for them. So it started off as, okay, they took the contract. Henry Kaiser was part of that. They expanded a couple of the defunct shipyards on each coast, Portland and Maine, and then they were doing one in out west, on the West Coast, which eventually morphed into bigger shipyards like the Richmond shipyard in California. But they talk about how after they built the 60 ships, FDR went to talk to Kaiser and the rest of his contacts and said, we want to expand this. And he went to the U.S. Maritime Commission and said, we need to be building cargo ships because we can create all the tanks, jeeps, weaponry. We can do that all day long here. That's great. How do we get it over there to where it's needed by both the British and Americans? Because FDR knew we were going in. So it just launched this huge shipbuilding campaign. And I don't know why this story just got to me, but it was a wonderful story of people making it happen, all Americans. They talk about how when the shipyards went up, tens of thousands of people looking for work rushed out to both coasts. They talk about the shipyard, the towns there, and also how Henry Kaiser, and this is where you learn about, everyone has heard Kaiser Permanente, correct? Well, Kaiser is Henry Kaiser, Permanente was one of the rivers of where one of his previous jobs was, one of his contract jobs. But Henry Kaiser partnered with a doctor who set up the first hospitals at the shipyards where people received primo care. And it was Henry Kaiser's passion to provide health insurance, like health care. He just revolutionized so many things. It wasn't just building the ships. And here's the other interesting thing about Henry Kaiser. He had never built a ship in his life. People would joke about the fact that he would call the bow of the ship the front end. But he would do that even though he knew the name bow, to show that you don't have to be an expert at something to kind of just to know. What was it, the quote I read? You don't have to be the expert to do it. You have to find the right people and give them the right tools and the right training, and they can make it happen. And he did. And oh God, it was just a fantastic read, you guys. And it just made you feel like, America pulled everyone together. Oh, and then the people who worked there were also very diverse. Women welders, Black people, Hispanics, Latino, Chinese, Asians. People were out there working. And they talked about like the launching parties. He gets into every aspect of this emergency shipbuilding program, which was what was the unofficial name of what FDR called for. And then they went on a race to see how fast they could get these ships off the line. It went from like 8 months down to like less than 2 months. And in one case, even though they talked about prefabrication and standardization, they rolled a ship out in 4 days. So what can I say? This is a fantastic history, and I can't recommend it enough. So this book is out now, Launching Liberty. I say check it out, and I'm glad I got the final copy, because my galley did not have any of the pictures, because I'm like, where is this Kaiser guy? He was where is he? Oh, and they even talked about how Kaiser was so influential that FDR was even thinking about having him run as a vice president. He thought he could run the country. But this was fantastic. Just a fantastic read. All right, so I went on a little bit too long with that one. Let's keep rolling. Another World War II history. This book is coming out in October. And this is The Girl Bandits of the Warsaw Ghetto, the true story of 5 courageous young women who sparked an uprising, by Elizabeth R. Hyman. This is coming from Harper Perennial. Another great story of women who just bucked convention and smuggled in arms, smuggled in food into Warsaw. As the Nazis just put them in this huge ghetto, Jewish ghetto, and just how the Jewish community came together, and then these women all did it. Just, and it's also very exciting. It's kind of written novelistically, as they would go about their special operations and secret, courier. They would courier things, and they would work with local resistance groups. And it talks about a lot of interesting aspects of the fact that. And it focuses a lot on the Polish aspect, the Polish Jews, and how like Eastern European Orthodox Jewry at the time considered it the place for women to go out and work, while the men were supposed to stay home and study the Talmud. So these women grew up in a very unusual, you don't see it, in history very much, where it was like the woman was supposed to go out because the man was supposed to be doing his religious studies. Well, that made this group of women uniquely situated between, because they would go to the Polish public schools, and they got a broader education than they would have done if they had been from another type of, maybe a Reformed tradition. It's just really fascinating on a lot of different levels. But The Girl Bandits of the Warsaw Ghetto by Elizabeth R. Hyman. I've read that one. Very recent read of mine. I just finished this last week. Bruce Henderson, he wrote a fantastic book called Bridge to the Sun about Japanese Americans who fought in World War II, which I highly recommend. That was a moving book. His latest book is this one, Midnight Flyboys, the American bomber crews and Allied secret agents who aided the French resistance in World War II. This book is coming out in November, so you've got time yet, but I'm here to tell you, put it on your list if you enjoy little known World War II history, because this was this whole operation, which was called Operation Carpetbagger, was top secret, and they only declassified the files in the 1990s, and so I'm surprised that we're only seeing this book now. But then again, I mean, there's so many other things that people write about for World War II topics, but this one covers this Operation Carpetbagger and talks about the American air crews that flew in low and slow to drop supplies to the Maquis, which were the French resistance fighters on the ground. And this was all in preparation for D-Day. So this was happening around 1943 and into 44. They were trying to like soften up, the Nazi occupied areas of France by dropping in supplies to these people resisting the Nazis. They would take these weapons, they would take the communication equipment that was dropped from these B-24 liberators, and they would sabotage, basically, the Nazi operations in the area. And this was, again, all to try to, another aspect, really, a long run up to D-Day, but this was integral to that. So, and it's great. And he kind of, Bruce Henderson, he has a great way of weaving in and out of like the overall like history, the missions and stuff, but then he dives into the personalities. And two of the people in here were women who were, in this case, I think they were British. They were like SOE. So what is it? Special Operations Executive. Am I getting that wrong? I don't know. But on the American side, it was the OSS, which morphed into the CIA. But anyway, learned so much about this one woman, Nancy Wake. Wow, she was a badass. And then Violet Szabo, who basically she was in the resistance, and she wanted vengeance because her French legionnaire husband was killed by the Nazis, and so she was just like, you know what, there's going to be hell to pay. Just a fantastically illuminating book, which was fun to read. And I love the fact that it's not all about the men. There's some women in here who really did some heroic stuff, and even the guys were like, I do not want to tangle with her, because Nancy Wake was trained in like hand-to-hand combat. He talks about Henderson does, about how she actually took out a Nazi soldier by hand, killed him with her bare hands. And I'm not talking with a knife. She straight up was taught some of these moves, like if you hit someone in the neck, I forget where, but it's particular, right here, and at the same time she rushed him. This little woman, she rushed him and like took a punch with her forearm up under his chin, and then chopped him, dropped him dead. Now, it did affect her, because she says, I had dealt with shooting people before, when the Nazis would find us in the woods waiting for these planes. She says, but it was different when you do that hand to hand. So just a fantastic book, you guys. Bruce Henderson is a great writer. Bridge to the Sun I loved it. So anyway, this is coming in November. Oh, okay. Here we go. And then this was like my most recent review I just turned in. This is a very slim little volume, but boy, did it make me just miss this man. This is David McCullough's History Matters. Now this one's coming out September 16th, so you don't have as too long to wait. This is put out by Simon & Schuster. Oh, I didn't say Midnight Flyboys is put out by Gallery Books. All right, there we go. So History Matters is a collection of some of his papers that his daughter, Dory McCullough Lawson, along with his research assistant, Michael Hill, found after, David McCullough passed away in August of 2022. So it's been 3 years, and they put together this nice little compilation. I hope that there's more that they're going to publish. I don't know how many of his papers, they feel like they want to print, but this is just a variety of essays that he wrote or speeches that he gave at different times, and speaking about character and speaking about how the past speaks to the present. It was beautiful. I've got so many places underlined in this book. And I was reading it, hearing his voice. So I recommend this highly. If you're a David McCullough fan, you'll want to read this last dispatch, as I call it, from the man himself. Again, this is coming out next month from Simon & Schuster. All right. You know what? I'm going to save this book. I'm going to talk about it because, hey, little teaser, guys. Teaser. I'm reading some horror novels for review in the run-up for Halloween because, you know what? I'm so ready for fall. I'm so ready for fall. And this is one of them. I'm just going to give you a teaser. Bam. Okay, that's all I'm going to show you. I just turned in my review for this one as well. Actually, that's the last book I just sent in. Was that review? No, it was History Matters. Anyway, I'm always writing. I'm always submitting book reviews, so I get kind of confused. Now, let's move on to some books here that have come across the History Shelf circulation desk, if you will. And I feel bad that some of them I've missed, but some of them are coming up or at least out right now. This is a memoir. Okay. Let's see, when did it come out? Looks like this month. I don't know. Oh! You guys, it just published today. Perfect timing. This is from St. Martin's Press. And this is Children of the Book, a memoir of reading together by Ilana Kirshen. This is just my print galley here. Let's see. In Children of the Book, Ilana Kirshen explores the closeness forged when family life unfolds against a backdrop of reading together. Kirshen, a mother of 5 living in Jerusalem, at first struggles to balance her passion for literature with her responsibilities as a parent. Gradually, she learns how to relate to reading not as a solitary pursuit and an escape from the messiness of life, but rather as a way of teaching independence and forging connection. Introducing her children to sacred and secular literature, including the beloved classics of her childhood, helps her become both a better mother and a better reader. And then it kind of goes into the books that she's talking about, which is the 5 books of Moses, known as the Torah. So it kind of goes into the Torah and how each book, I guess she kind of extrapolates what you can learn from that as far as reading and living. But I wanted to show you this because I haven't shown it to you yet. But it's out today, August 26th, Children of the Book, by Ilana Kirshen. And then I just realized I probably should make this the halfway mark to show you my new little thing. And then I'm going to show you this. So this is an outdoor little flag. You know, if you ever have those garden flags that kind of just hang down like this, and you can like swap them out for seasons or whatever. And we do that from time to time. And Martine sent this to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have it because this is totally me. With a caveat, so it might piss off some people, but really it's okay because I don't care. Look at this. I read books. Of course, I didn't vote for him. This is from Etsy, and this is from a creator. Her name's Leslie, and I'm gonna link down her channel, her Etsy website below. Let's see here. Oh, and Leslie subscribes to my channel now because Martine let her know that we were going to do this, and she was so tickled. Hi, Leslie. Love the flag, and as soon as I finish making this video, it's going out front. So, yeah. Her Etsy store is called Wandering Mercantile. And she's based out of Bend, Oregon. Well, here's the thing. If you like this flag, or if you like anything else you see on her website, you can get 30% off by using the code, The History Shelf. Isn't that great? All one word, The History Shelf. I'm so tickled. That's like the first time someone used my channel name as a discount code. So The History Shelf, 30% off. You could get this, any other type of neat stuff that Leslie designs. It's going to be fun to see what my neighbors say, but whatever. It's a free country, right? I think still. All right. So thanks again, Leslie. Love the flag. We'll send you a picture once it's up. And anyway, guys, go check out Leslie's Etsy. If you like shopping Etsy, you got to check out her channel below. And use that. Who gets 30% off anymore? Check it out below in the description box. All right, moving along. I wanted to show you. So here's a history title. It's from Random House Canada. So yeah, I'm trying to remember when this one came in, but it came out this month. I don't know if it's later this month or earlier, but this is An Accidental Villain, a soldier's tale of war, deceit, and exile by Lyndon McIntyre. Let's see here. This is about Major General Sir Hugh Tudor. Okay, let's get into it. After distinguishing himself on the battlefields of the First World War, Major General Sir Hugh Tudor could have sought a respectable retirement in England. But in 1920, his old friend Winston Churchill, Minister of War in Lloyd George's cabinet, called on Tudor to serve in a very different kind of conflict. Ooh. One fought in the Irish streets and countryside against an enemy determined to resist British colonial authority to the death. And soon Tudor was directing a police force waging a brutal campaign against rebel terrorists he was driven to win at all costs. Okay, including utilizing police death squads and inflicting brutal reprisals against IRA members and supporters. Oh, she's going to be so... And Sinn Féin politicians? I can't pronounce that. I am sorry. Tudor left few traces of his time in Ireland. No diary or letters that might explain his record as commander of the notorious Black and Tans. Oh, no. Nothing to justify his role on Bloody Sunday, November 21st, 1920, when his men infamously slaughtered Irish football fans. And why did a man knighted for his efforts in Ireland leave his family and homeland in 1925, moving across the sea to Newfoundland, where he remained in quiet obscurity until he died 40 years later? Interesting. Lyndon McIntyre has spent 4 years tracking Tudor through archives, contemporaries, diaries, and letters, and the body count of that Irish war in search of answers. In An Accidental Villain, he delivers a consequential and fascinating account of how events can bring a man to the point where he acts against his own training, principles, and inclination, in the service of a cause, and ends up on a long journey toward personal oblivion. Wow, I did not realize this was about the leader of the Black and Tans. Sorry, Martine, I didn't. Hey, but you know what? I gotta learn, and we'll see. Maybe it's not so accidental. Maybe he just really was a villain. I don't know. We'll get back to you on that. But that's out, I'm pretty sure, right now from Random House Canada. Now, let's see. Now we've got a mixture of fiction, guys, so I don't know if some of you want to bounce, but we're going to be going over some fiction books that have come across here. This one is really interesting. It's like noirish, I'm thinking, but it's co-written, right? I think so, by an actor and a writer. Well, no, I don't know. Okay, let me just show you. It says Blair Underwood presents. So I don't know. He's presenting, but the author says Joe McLean. This is Sins of Survivors, a Carter Brothers novel. This is put out by Amistad Publishing. Oh yeah, and this is this is a finished copy. So this one actually came out earlier this year. I don't know how I missed this one, but I wanted you guys to be aware of it. It's gotten tons of blurbs, and people just going nuts over it. Let's see. It says Harlem Shuffle meets The Godfather in this fierce and dazzling crime family saga from award-winning actor and producer Blair Underwood and filmmaker Joe McLean. Oh, I see. Okay, so In 1908 Alabama, precocious young Benjamin Carter brings deadly consequences down upon his father's head when he dares to use a white drinking fountain instead of a quote-unquote colored one. With his fierce and protective older brother Jasper, Ben escapes Alabama, joining the Great Migration to Black Bottom, Detroit's flourishing black neighborhood. There, the brothers rise from the ashes to become kingpins of this new community, owning businesses, playing politics, and diving into Detroit's violent criminal underbelly. How did I miss this? Because this is set in Detroit. Pegs all over this. Through their wit and grit, Ben and Jasper established the Carter dynasty, securing a prosperous future for their families. But heavy are the heads that wear the crowns. As their children come of age, young men and women fueled by ambitions of their own, the brothers clash over which direction to steer the Carter empire. Fantastic. Okay, so it says Hollywood legend Blair Underwood and screenwriter Joe McLean have created a thrilling and cinematic story about family and what it means for a black community to not just survive, but thrive. Which makes me wonder if it says a Carter Brothers novel, there's probably going to be another one. So I'm putting this on my bedside table, which is overflowing with the books I want to get to. But this is out. In case you haven't heard of it, I wanted to just get it out there for everybody. Okay, this book is next historical fiction. It's coming out end of September, like September 25th. I am reviewing this for a news site that I've reviewed 2 books for already called History Through Fiction. In fact, I'm going to link that in the description box if you're interested. They have, for $12 a year, you get access to these webinars with historical fiction writers. You get, it's also for authors to kind of, use those services to get, feedback on their novels. There are book reviews, and that's the area of the website where you'll see my writings. So for $12 a year, you can read my full reviews. But this one this will be my 3rd book that I'm reviewing with them since we made our collaboration earlier this summer. And this is one of them by Kitty Zeldis. This is put out by Harper Books. I think the finished copy arrived not long ago, so but this was near to hand, so I thought I'd show it to you real quick. Let's see. Anne Bishop seems like a typical Vassar sophomore, one of a popular group of privileged WASP friends. None of the girls in her circle has any idea that she's Jewish or that her real first name is Miriam. Pretending to be a Gentile has made life easier. As Anne, she no longer suffers the snubs, snide remarks, and daily restrictions Jews face. She enjoys her college life of teas, late-night conversations, and mixers, and turns a blind eye to the casual anti-Semitism that flourishes among her friends and classmates. After all, it's no longer directed at her. But her secret life is threatened when she becomes fascinated by a girl not in her crowd. Delia Goldhush, well, that's a name, Goldhush, is sophisticated, stylish, brilliant, and unashamedly Jewish, and seems not to care that she's an outcast among the other students. Knowing that her growing closeness with Delia would be social suicide if it were discovered, Anne keeps their friendship quiet. Delia seems to understand until a cruelty by Anne drives them apart and sends them scattering to other corners of the world. So it's a little over 300 pages. It's gotten some good buzz from the research I did, because I pitched this book to the editor at History Through Fiction, and he was like, yeah, let's do it. So I will have a review coming soon. And meanwhile, let me know let me tell you, when I post on social media my reviews for History Through Fiction, there, it's pay to play. So it's $12 a year, but then you'll be able to read my reviews. So what I'm saying is there's a paywall. Okay. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. I'll be starting to read that very soon for my review submission by end of next month. Now, you Anne Cleves fans are going to lose your minds. I know I am, because I am like 4 or 5 books into the one of her most beloved series, which is the Shetland series. Well, guess who's coming back? Guess who's coming back? When does this come out? September, guys. That's all I have to say. It's a Detective Jimmy Perez novel. It's The Killing Stones. And Detective Jimmy Perez from the Shetland series returns in the eagerly awaited new mystery from Anne Cleves. A killer new investigation, a stunning new setting, and a fan favorite detective. Oh, this is great. Okay, I'm just going to give you a teaser. It's been several years since Detective Jimmy Perez left Shetland. He's now settled into his new home in Orkney, the group of islands off the northern coast of Scotland, with his growing family. One stormy night, his oldest friend, Archie Stout, goes missing. Ever the detective, Perez catches a boat to the island of Westray, where Archie lived with his family. So I don't want to give any more away, but good old Jimmy Perez is coming back. This is going to be out in September next month from Minotaur Books. And I love the series. So I need to rush to finish. I mean, I've watched several and I love the BBC adaptations. But I need to finish up the other series, the other, I guess, 3 or 4 books left in that Shetland series, and then I'm going to be hopping right in. So I don't have to wait. You know how people might have read the last Jimmy Perez novel years and years and years and years ago, and then they're like, oh, I guess that's over. Nope. It's coming back, baby. So I'm excited for that. Let's see. We've got a couple of books here from Harper, 3 books from Harper Perennial. This one is coming out September 16th. Historical fiction. The Formidable Miss Cassidy by Mayan Bowie. And it's got, I guess, some elements of fantasy, which I have to be honest, guys, I didn't know that this was going to be fantasy. I thought it was just historical fiction. I don't like when they mix in fantasy with history. But let's read this. There has not yet been a crisis that Miss Leda Cassidy hasn't been able to fix, be it a lovelorn young charge, perpetually distracted students, or an unruly and malevolent ghost. When she arrives at her new employer's home and discovers the family is being terrorized by a vampiric spirit, she sets about righting the situation without delay. But it seems that as soon as she puts one supernatural creature to rest, another appears to take its place. A woman's work is truly never done, is it? When she meets Mr. K, a widower whose greatest worry appears to be making matches for his twin daughters, she is happy to take a post that might provide her a bit of respite from her more spirited friends. But she soon realizes that the K's are in far more trouble than she first thought, and that her presence in their home might have put the family she's grown to cherish in even more jeopardy. Will she be able to save them all before it's too late, or has she finally stumbled upon the one problem she isn't able to solve? It's got some cozy feels to it. So, Formidable Miss Cassidy. I know that this is a very popular genre right now, mixing historical fiction with fantasy or supernatural stuff like that. So, I mean, just I've seen so much of it. It's just crazy. But so if that's your genre, keep an eye out for this next month from Harper Perennial. And then how would we categorize this one? Is this also going to be fantasy? Let's see. No, let's just go. This is coming out October 7th, and this is What a Way to Go by Bella Mackey. It says, with the bite of the White Lotus and the family dynamics of Succession, an uproarious and satirical whodunit about people behaving badly and perhaps finally getting their just desserts. From the author of the mega bestseller, How to Kill Your Family, which I've never heard of. Okay. When Anthony Wistern died, he expected his family to make a bit more of a fuss about it, especially after He died in such dramatic fashion, skewered by an exorbitantly expensive party decoration in the private lake of his Cotswolds manor house at his 60th birthday party, surrounded by all the people he most loved, flaunting his wealth in front of. And now even death is letting him down. Instead of heaven or hell or even an empty void, Anthony is stuck in a strange kind of purgatory, and he must figure out who killed him before he can get out of this interminably exasperating waiting room. This sounds funny, actually. I think I'd like this. Let's see here. Olivia Wistern knows she should probably try to appear at least a little upset about her husband's death, but she honestly can't be bothered. As usual, he's left behind an unbelievable mess, financially, socially, personally, that she's going to have to clean up. Their 4 grown children will be of absolutely no help. She shouldn't have let them become so irrevocably spoiled. And is it just her, or are the police and their murder investigation intentionally getting underfoot? There's no shortage of people who hated Anthony, so can't they look for a killer somewhere other than her house? While the Wisterns are more concerned about the fate of their money than the fate of their patriarch, one internet sleuth is highly interested in Anthony Wistern's death. She isn't about to let the opportunity to create a sure-to-be-a-smash true crime podcast pass by, not when the murder was committed mere yards away, and not when she has her own history with the victim. She'll make her name and her own fortune off Anthony's death, one way or another, whatever it takes. What a way to go. He's impaled on the... skewered by an exorbitantly expensive party decoration. Wow. That is what a way to go. This sounds hilarious. God, another one I want to just start reading right now. Okay, that's coming out in early October. Oh, let's see. I hope that this is straight up just historical fiction with no weird fantasy, but here we go. This is coming out October 21st. I Am Cleopatra, by Natasha Solomons. And that says, know her, love her, fear her. Yes. Let's see here. The favored daughter of the pharaoh, Egyptian princess Cleopatra, spent her childhood hiding amid the scrolls in the great library of Alexandria, dreaming of one day writing her own story. When her father dies, naming both Cleopatra and her selfish brother Ptolemy as his successors to the throne, danger arises. While the young queen sails the Nile to greet her people, her brother plots to eliminate her and rule the empire alone. Ptolemy has the power of the kingdom behind him, but Cleopatra has her cunning wits. When the great Caesar arrives from Rome, she realizes he could be the key to her salvation, though courting this powerful man could cost her everything. And it did. Can Cleopatra save her life, her throne, and her beloved Egypt and finally write her own history? From a historical standpoint, no. Sorry. It's a resounding no. Told from the dueling perspectives of Cleopatra and Caesar's mistress, Servilia, I Am Cleopatra is a powerful, addictively readable retelling of the alluring queen's life. A modern retelling that goes beyond previous caricatures, the book is a fascinating portrait of the flesh and blood woman behind the great legend. All right, so I'll have to dip in and see if it does indeed offer something new. I Am Cleopatra, as far as historical fiction goes. And that is coming October 21st from Harper Perennial. Now, we are almost hitting the 50-minute mark, and I am just livid with myself. I cannot seem to get this going. Shoot, you guys. A couple more books. I won't read the descriptions just because I'm running out of time here. But this book is coming out on Labor Day, September 2nd. Looks like just a nice kind of cozy mystery. A Rather Peculiar Poisoning by Crystal Schleier. And this is from Park Row Books. It's an engagement celebration at a turn-of-the-century manor that takes a deadly twist, and everyone becomes a suspect. Okay. Twin brothers in love with the same woman. Okay, here we go. It's a very brief telling, but if you want to check that one out, A Rather Peculiar Poisoning by Crystal Schleier. Um, oh, that one's not coming. Okay, that one I'll save. All right, last book I want to end with is supposed to be, there's a big, I am tuned into all the publishing houses. I get tons of emails about what's coming, what people are buzzing about. I get the alerts from different places, and I've got my fingers in all the pies, guys. This book is making some waves. I mean, people are talking about it. Now, it's coming out. It's so funny that they marked out the date on the book. I think they weren't sure when it was, but I Googled it for you guys before I started this video. This is coming out September 30th. And this is The Irish Goodbye by Heather Amy O'Neill. And this is coming out from Focus. Oh, I did it again. There we go. September 30th from Henry Holt Books. And it's a debut. For fans of J. Courtney Sullivan and Mary Beth Keane, three adult sisters grapple with a shared tragedy over a Thanksgiving weekend as they try to heal strained family bonds through the passage of time. It's been years since the three Ryan sisters were all together at their beloved family home on the eastern shore of Long Island. 2 decades ago, their lives were upended by an accident on their brother Topher's boat. A friend's brother was killed. The resulting lawsuit nearly bankrupted their parents, and Topher spiraled into depression, eventually taking his life. Now the Ryan women are back for Thanksgiving, eager to reconnect, but each carrying a heavy secret. The eldest, Kate, still holding guilt for the role no one knows she played in the boat accident, rekindles a flame with her high school crush, Topher's best friend and the brother of the boy who died. Middle sister Alice has been thrown a curveball that threatens the career she's restarting, and faces a difficult decision that may doom her marriage. And the youngest, Maggie, is finally taking the risk of bringing the woman she loves home to meet her devoutly Catholic mother. Infusing everything is the grief for Topher that none of the Ryans have figured out how to carry together. When Kate invites a guest from their shared past to Thanksgiving dinner, old tensions boil over and new truths surface, nearly overpowering the flickering lights of their family bond. For far more than a family holiday will be ruined unless the sisters can find a way to forgive themselves and one another. All right. About 288 pages, but it's kind of like one of those family dramas that sometimes I'm drawn to them and sometimes I'm not. But this one speaks to me. I don't know, and the cover is brilliant. I really like this cover, and it's very simple, but it works. So this is coming out September 30th from Holt Publishing. And there you have it, guys. Gosh, 52-minute video. I was really hoping it wouldn't be that long, but I had a lot to kind of work through. I needed to get some house cleaning done on some of these books to get them out to you. Again, check out Leslie's Etsy page if you're interested in this nifty flag, outdoor flag for your garden, whatever. If you want to spark a mini riots or civil war on your block, go for it. I'm kidding. But anyway, check it out. We're going to go hang this out front. But use that code if, she makes other things. So check it out. Get 30% off. Use the history shelf. And all those details are down below in the description box. But until next time, guys, thanks for joining me here. Thanks for liking. And please like and subscribe. Help the channel. You know the usual, the biz stuff, okay? But until next time, guys, have a good one out there, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.